a few weeks ago, I started trying to make some procedural terrain using a Python library called PyGame. And I tinkered around with this a little bit, and I have gotten it now to a point where it is something that I think works pretty well, and I'll show it off at the end of the video. But really, this is about all of the other stuff I did in PyGame. So that really got me started, and super fun. I would recommend everybody try doing some projects. Most of what I've done involves procedural generation or randomness of some kind, and I think that's going to be the main topic of today's video. So, we're going to start with the first project that I did after procedural landmass generation, which would be... oh, I suppose that would be my ants, wouldn't it? Alright, so I created a little program. It's super simple. It's nothing fancy. It generates a bunch of ants, and these ants are represented as just an array of coordinates, as in their coordinates. And then there's another array which contains all of their goals, and I'll get to that in a second. So the idea was I wanted them to move randomly around the screen. But I wasn't quite sure how to do that. So what I made it do is the ants will pick a random goal somewhere on the screen, and if their X position is less than the goal, they will, they'll increase the X position to go closer to the goal. Same for Y, and vice versa. And then once they are at the goal, so their X and Y is equal to the goal, then it will randomly generate a new goal. And so it gives the illusion that they're just sort of wandering around aimlessly. I mean, they sort of are, but not really. The code ended up doing some stuff that I'm pretty sure I didn't actually implement. I'm not sure why, but what it does is, what I thought would happen is they would just go in a diagonal line, based on where they are in comparison to the goal, and then once they hit equal to the goal on either the X or the Y, they would go in a straight line. And they sort of do that, but they also go in a semi-diagonal line. It's like they might go like 2 on the X and 1 on the Y, which I'm pretty sure I never added that. But who knows? Maybe I'm just going insane or something. It's an absolute possibility. I am coding simulations of ants, so I don't think it's too far out there. So I decided that wasn't interesting enough, and I implemented a feature now where you could select between one of two modes. Random, where they just go around randomly, and follow, where it'll actually pick a point near the mouse and go towards that. And if you move the mouse, it picks a new point near the mouse, so all of the ants are always moving towards the mouse. This works, but it's not really that interesting, because if they all reach the mouse, they all just get clustered up into a ball, and then it's not very fun to play around with. So I tried to do procedural tree generation after that, but I'm gonna get to that. You know what? No, this isn't the correct chronological order. So yeah, we're gonna talk about the procedural tree generator. Does it work? That's for you to decide, really. Sure, we'll say it overall accomplishes the goal. The idea was you would have a starting point, and it would pick a number of branches, and it would have ending points. And for each of those ending points, it would generate a random number between 0 and 3, and that's how many new branches would come out. And then it would pick as many points as the number of branches somewhere near the ends of the branches, and then it would draw a line, generating new branches. However, because of my really horrible implementation of the code, and also I'm way too lazy to fix this, and it just isn't something I'm super interested in, it goes on infinitely and can be kind of weird. But maybe it works overall. And after that, I decided on something else, because I was just really bored and I wanted to whip up something in 5 minutes. So I made a program that all it does is it generates a bunch of random points on the screen, and it connects all of them. So if you have point A, B, and C, then it connects point A to B and C, C to B and A, and B to A and C, if I got that right. And then you could do that for D or whatever, and it would create this sort of web. I called it net. And then at some point, I added the feature where you could actually click, and it would add a new point where the mouse was. And I thought, you know what? This is pretty cool. What if I actually added it to the ant simulation? So what I did then was I actually gave the ant simulation a third mode. So we had follow and we had random, but now there was net. Or no, I called it web. So now there's web, and what that will do is you can choose the number of ants that appear on the screen. They still generate at random positions, but as they're walking around, they're drawing lines from themselves to all the other ants, and it creates this really interesting shifting web effect, and it's really cool. Of course, you can still generate new ants by clicking, just like in the net. So I had some fun with those. They were really cool. I hope you enjoyed seeing them. If you'd like, you can comment down below, and I would probably be happy to put the code out on GitHub or somewhere else, in case anybody wants to play around with those. And then here's the last project. Now we're getting into the procedural landmass generation. So I was trying, the way this is going to work basically is you take noise. Gradient noise is kind of hard to understand, but it's sort of a controlled randomness. You would get a map, and it would be like each point on the map is a random color, but you wouldn't go from red to green. You would go from red to a bit greener, and there would be a gradient up to that. So it's smoothed out randomness. And if you plug this into like a height map, if you say, okay, the ground is going to be this tall based on the value of the color at these coordinates, it generates cool terrain. So what I did was I was going to do that. You can do it in 2D, and then based on what the value it gives, if it's over a certain amount, it would be this color, like an ocean. And that worked well, but it took me a little while to find a good noise library, because I was using one at first that didn't work, and I spent about an hour trying to troubleshoot that, and I just switched libraries. Then I was using one for open simplex noise, which is a different type of noise than what I used, which is Perlin noise. And while I do believe that it can actually be used in the same way for procedural terrain generation, I couldn't get it to work. It looked like a bunch of scribbles. I'm sorry. I don't know what was wrong with it. So I skipped to the easiest thing. I went with Perlin noise, and here's the final result. I did some tweaking with the beach size and the seeds and the islands, and now you can even see it changing in real time, because before it was just a blank screen, and then suddenly you get this map. And I really didn't like that, because I wanted to see it generating in real time. I didn't have to wait. Yeah, and now you can generate it multiple times without having to restart the program. So there's scale, which is like the size of the map. A larger scale means you're zoomed in more. Then there's cutoff, which is basically the size of the ocean. So a higher cutoff means, I believe it's larger. Yeah. So the way it works is if the value is above the cutoff, then it is land, otherwise it is ocean. So a higher cutoff means larger oceans and smaller islands. So then I thought, you know what, this is pretty cool, but what if I added forests? So at this point, I had already done mountains and beaches, which is really simple, just changing the color based on the height compared to the cutoff. So forests, what I did, I really like this. For all of the areas that are already going to be green, which corresponds to grasslands probably, I actually generated a second layer of Perlin noise, and if it was over a certain amount on that second layer, it would be a darker shade of green to represent forest. And I really like how this turned out. I might do some tweaking, and I'll probably put the code out there if anybody wants to see it. But I just sort of wanted to show everybody kind of what I've been doing lately. I know I haven't uploaded in about a month, and before that, I don't think I'd uploaded in 6 months, so I may not be the best about that, but it's fine, right? You know, it's fine. I have other stuff going on, and by that, I mean I just keep forgetting to upload, sorry. So, I had some time over spring break, thought I'd record a video. Uh, Maybe not lose all of my subscribers just because I never post anymore. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Um, if you, once again, uh, please, if you enjoyed it, subscribe. Someday maybe I'll do more content. Yes, I mean content, period. Who knows? Could be like 5 years knowing my upload schedule. Um, so yeah, and don't forget to comment down below if you'd like me to put the code out there. I think for procedural terrain generation, it's going to be on GitHub anyways, but otherwise, I'm probably going to be too lazy to upload everything else, so you're going to have to ask me specifically. Alright, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.